What's up, guys? Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, November the 8th. Hopefully you got out and voted today. Been on the water quite a bit this last week. I think 5, maybe 6 days. Had some good days and had some pretty rough days. It's kind of interesting. Fish are still kind of in that transition phase. We haven't really seen them out move up deep or move shallow. Some shallow, some deep. We'll get into that in a little bit. Water temperature, we are right around 64, 65 degrees pretty much everywhere I've been. That's part of the issue why the fish are still not grouped up as good as we'd like to see them for fall or for winter. Hasn't really changed a whole lot. Actually, I think it's warmed up with some of these warmer days we've had. So that's an issue. We got some cold weather coming in this weekend, so hopefully that'll change. Lake level, we are pretty much at 9-10 flat right now. We had that little bit of rain come through last week, or I guess over the weekend, and that did bring the lake up about a half a foot. So we're right about 7 feet low. And of course, still moving some water, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Best way to know what's going on, best way to stay on top of everything about Table Rock Lake, join Table Rock Fishing Intel and become a pro member. You get all those reports, daily reports, weekly reports, all that information on a regular basis that'll help you catch more fish the next time you go to Table Rock Lake. But if you're coming down, going to fish the lower end of the lake, the lower end continues to be tough. You've got a decent football jig bite first thing in the morning. Lasts about an hour and a half or 2 hours. A lot of smallmouth, some spots, a few largemouth coming on it. A lot of those fish they're not real shallow. They're 12 to about 20, 25 foot deep on gravel and rock mix points. Drop shot bite is still there, but with the fish being scattered, it's a lot more difficult. I'm seeing a lot more fish than I'm catching. So seeing a lot of fish in trees, seeing a lot of fish out on gravel points, but they're not super active. At least a few times I've been down that way, they haven't been. If you can find groups of shad, you can get bit a little bit better. And I have been catching a few on the scope spin. The deal with the shad right now, they're not really grouped up. They're not the great big schools that we like to see this time of year. So you'll find these little, just little pods of shad. And if you can find those pods of shad and they've got fish hanging around them, that scope spin's been really good at targeting those fish. You see them on your forward-facing sonar, you throw the scope spin and bring it right through them. You can catch fish doing that on the lower end. Go to the mid-lake, it's a little bit better in the mid-lake, starting to see some shad start to group up in the creek, so there is a deep bite starting to form. Caught a few on a scuba spoon last week, caught them on a drop shot. Most of those fish are towards the backs of the creeks and about that 30 to 40 foot depth range. That's where the shad are and that's where the fish are, so if you want to go fish deep right now, you can do that. The football jig bite has been pretty good with both a peewee and a heavy cover football jig on those gravel and rock mix main lake points, a few on the secondary points. We are catching a few around boat docks, anywhere from the walkway leading to the dock out to about 15 or 20 feet. Just key on the shade with a Jewel Pro spider jig, that's been good. And then the scope spin bite, we are catching them on a scope spin there as well. It's actually a little bit better because those shad are a little bit more grouped up. We seem to be catching a few more fish on the scope spin in the mid-lake. Come up into James where I am today. I got an afternoon trip today here on the James. Fished the little Sunday tournament here on this past weekend, and we got third, had a limit. I think we had 8 or 9 keepers. Pretty much everything we caught was on a jig or on a shaky head. Throwing Jewel Pro spider jig, throwing the heavy cover football jig, and throwing the Pro shaky head. That's what most of our fish came on. Most of them were less than 10 feet deep, in little cuts and little guts along steeper banks. Anywhere that there was a little bit of a flattened out area or a little cut that went back into a steeper bank, we seemed to be able to get bit there. Didn't really have any wind that day. If you've got some wind up here, they are eating a rock crawler and a wigglewort pretty good up here. And they are eating a jackhammer or spinnerbait up here as well if you've got wind. Wind really makes a difference. Got a little bit of a breeze coming up this afternoon, so we might be able to catch some this afternoon on a jackhammer and on a spinnerbait as well. Go up into the White River. White River's fishing a lot like the mid-lake is. A lot of fish coming on a peewee and heavy cover football jig on those gravel points, gravel mixed with rock points, mostly main lake and some on the secondaries and the bigger creeks. 12 to about 20 feet deep. Seems like the bite's definitely better early, then it slows down as the day goes on. Most of the fish are coming off a rock. If you pull it over a rock, that's where you're going to find a fish. Drop shot bite's been decent as well, around trees, around docks, and any piece of cover that you can find on a gravel point, anywhere from about 25 to 35, or if you can find the bigger groups of shad, you can catch fish on a drop shot, a scuba spoon, or even an ice bait already if you're doing that. And then the scope spin bite. Scope spin bite has been good there. When you can find those groups of shad that have a few fish hanging around them, you can catch some fish on a scope spin up the White as well. Guys, we are in November and it's 70 degrees. And the water is still in the mid 60s. So don't know what to say, don't know what to tell you. The bite is not great yet. We don't have the winter bite that we had the last couple of years, but it is coming. We've got some cold weather coming this week, so that should definitely change things up, and we'll definitely start to see those shad and the fish move into the creeks where we're going to have that winter deep bite and probably get that winter shallow bite as well. But best way to know, best way to stay on top of it, join Table Rock Fishing Intel and become a pro member and get all that information on a daily basis. But if you're coming down, you want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either book online or shoot me an email. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Again, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.